So Amazon may somebody sent a link. Hey, this is new product. That link is sent. Out of 5,000 people, around 3,000 people have seen that link. Around 1,500 people have clicked the link. And then only 610 people have added to the cart. And only 565 people have purchased it. Maybe they have done some promotion. And this is the final figure. So basically, you can use funnel chart for multiple purposes. You can also take an action, right? So if let's say you want to ensure more number of people has to click on the link, they need to work on these two areas. If you look at it, 50% of reduction is happening. 3,800 people have seen the link, but only 1,500 are clicking the link. Maybe they have sent this message late night, 12 o'clock. Everybody's sleeping. I'm just giving hypothetical answers. Maybe they have to change the time the notification has to be published. Maybe they sent a product link. Let's say they are sending some fitness related product link to kids. Generally, kids do not do workout, right? So the target audience probably is wrong there. So, or let's say, this product is about some gold jewelry. They're sending it to male audience. So male people generally doesn't buy. So the target audience. So like this, there are different parameters. So basically, you can use this funnel chart to take some decision out of it, enhance your process. And important topic is the sequential steps are involved. Okay. So today is our sixth session, right? Day 6. So we already learned about some basics of functions, but we will learn a little bit more advanced functions starting from if-else function. Okay. We'll learn a lot of functions for probably 3 sessions. All our next 3 sessions, including today, is all about functions. Okay. As I said in the beginning of our session, that there are 600 plus functions in Excel. We can't teach you everything, but something which is definitely used on a day-to-day basis. We have shortlisted that we will make you hands-on and get knowledge on that functions. Other functions you'll definitely never ever use it in your life. Anybody know what is if-else function? Has got a chance to try it? What is if-else? Conditional statement. Okay. No, I don't want theoretical. I want practical kind of like basic knowledge. Like if-else. Take a look at this data. These are different applications which is generating some revenue. Okay. I want to say if the revenue is greater than 15,000, I want to call them as good. This is a if else condition, right? So what I'm saying is if revenue is greater than 15,000, then I want to categorize it as good. Else it is blank. So if else is simple. You have some condition, you want to check if that value is something like that, then you need to print something. Okay. Can you write the if else condition? Anybody who has you have tried already? Okay. I'll paste the data here in the Zoom link. Or you can also copy it from the screen. It's very simple. Just have 2 columns. One is apps column, second is revenue. Just add some numbers. And let me know once your data is ready. And make sure you have some values starting from 1,000 to 20,000. There should be some values greater than 15,000. There should be some values less than 15,000. So this is my condition, okay? Revenue, if it is greater than 15,000, then I want to call it as good. How do we write this? Is equal to, if the moment you type, if you see there's a function called if, which will pop up in the bottom. You can open. Now, how do we write the if else expression? You have some help in the bottom. First one is called as logical test, which is what is your condition? My condition is if this cell B5 is greater than, we learned about this operators, right? We are saying greater than 15,000. This is my condition, okay? If this condition is true, value if true is nothing but if this condition is true, what do I want? I want to print it as good. Value if false, if this condition is not true, what do you want to print? I want to, let's say, print it as NA. Now you see here, this is calling as NA. Is it correct? Right? Because it's 11,649, that's why it's NA. Now if I drag this formula, you see there are some places it is called as good. Only where it is greater than 15,000 now, it's calling as good. Can you try it out? Is it working? Working. Let's add a next condition. If the revenue is greater than 15,000 and less than 20,000, only then it should be good. How can we modify this logic? If else, you have used if else, huh? Tell me. Just a guess. I mean, don't have to be worried about whether your answer is correct or not. What's in? Think logically. You think. How do you solve this problem? Okay. Not getting anything. Okay. Whenever you work with multiple conditions, you can use, there is a function called AND. If you look at this, this is our condition, right? Right. So it is asking only for logical test. There's no option here to specify multiple conditions. So the easiest way to solve this problem is equal to if, same thing, revenue is greater than 15,000. Now what I will do is there is a function called AND. I'll add an AND function. So in AND function, you can specify as many conditions as you want. If you see here, logical 1, logical 2, you can specify as many conditions as you want. I'll give comma. The next condition is same formula, less than 20,000. Okay. So this is my entire condition now, which is greater than 15,000 and less than 20,000. You can see the color of a bracket. This represents that you are using different functions which is also called as nested. Within if function, you are calling another function. So this entire function is embedded with a red color bracket. You can see, I don't know if you can see it from the screen. So the red ends here and it will start here. So this is all part of one particular function. That's how you will read it. Now, if this condition is true, then I want to call it as good. Else NA. I'll close the bracket. Okay. So now let's drag the formula. 15,000 to 20,000, right? You see here 18,000, it is saying good. 17,999, it's good, right? And in our previous formula, we were saying 30,000 is also good because condition was just greater than. Now here greater than and less than 20,000. No, that's why this is ending. Okay. So you can specify as many conditions as you want. All you have to do is just comma. Okay. Can you try this and tell me if it is working? It's working. Now I'll change my requirement. Instead of 15, I want 16,000. What is the easiest way to do it? So my requirement keeps changing, okay? It's not static. It's like 15,000, 16,000. So I want this to be fully dynamic. I don't want to every time change this formula manually. What we learned about tagging the parameters, right? Referencing a cell in our previous example. No. Here, instead of 15,000, it's manually entered here. I don't want to be manually. I want to recall a cell. So whatever I enter in that cell, this will automatically pick up from there. Right? So let's go ahead and let's say here I'll enter 15,000 and here I'll enter 20,000. Whatever I enter here should automatically consider in my formula. We learned about cell referencing, right? So instead of 15,000, I'll just remove this 15. I'll call this cell, which is C1. Okay. Now, what is missing in this formula? Lock the cell. So how do we lock the cell? F4 dollar symbol we can add, right? So my formula is working as expected. Now, if my logic is, what if the value is not greater than 15,000? If the value is greater than 7,000. Okay. I don't have to change anything. Just enter 7,000. Now my requirement changes, not 7,000. I want probably 14,000. Okay. How do we update the same formula for this one? What change we should make?
20,000.
What else is missing?
Lock
Of the cell. Okay. Now can I change this? If I change this to 31,000, will everything call as good?
No.
Okay. Which will this one this cell will call as good? 31.
If it is 30,000, it would. If it is 31,000, it would say
It will not say any. It will say good only. No. Let's verify it.
no. Okay, 31,000, right?
Our formula is
Okay, less than. Okay.
so 30,400 is less than 31,000. So it's
Yep.
called. Always remember this parameters are very important. Okay. For an example, let's say here we have 7,718. 7,718. It is still calling as any. You remember, take a look at this. It is greater than. Exactly. When you say greater than equals to, that is when it will take. So for example, I modify this formula equals. Then it will call as. Operators are very important. Okay. Can you try referencing your cell to some range? Give anything on C1, D1 and point your formula to that cell. Don't forget to lock your cell, okay? Okay. So, shall we move to the next one? So you learn. Any questions? You didn't lock the cell.
After locking the cell, I need to drag it in.
Oh, you have to drag that now. Okay, so next condition is same. So far we learned about basic if condition. We learned about adding multiple conditions in your if statement using AND function. Let's look at this next problem. Revenue should be greater than 15,000 and less than 20,000. Then it is good, which is already part of our existing condition. If the revenue is greater than equal to 20,000, you should call it as exceptional. Okay. Rest, if this does not match any of these condition, rest you want to print the value as is. Example, if the value is 7,000, you want to print the value as is. So how can we handle this scenario? Till here we are good. We know this part. We solved this part. How do we handle this part? Hmm? Exception. Okay. How do you specify or condition? Where do you specify or condition?
See, what is the question? Revenue is less than 15,000 or great and
Mhm.
greater, right? Then it is good.
Mhm.
Or revenue is greater or lesser than, I mean, equal to.
Or condition is basically, you know, what is a or condition works? If any of this condition matches,
Hmm.
it goes and print as good.
Okay.
We don't want that. We want to first verify this particular part.
Hmm.
If that is good, then go to the rest of the values, then apply this condition. So or will not work here. So let's see what else we can do with the formula. I'll just copy that same. Tell me. FIS. This is a formula called FIS. FIS. What is FIS? If yes. Okay. Okay. So let's learn a little bit about this one. In this scenario, entire formula is same. There's no change in the formula. So if you look at this, what is NA? Value if false, right? So basically first this condition goes in, which is greater than 15 and less than 20, it goes and print it as good. The next condition is revenue greater than equal to 20,000, right? I'll remove NA here. Whenever the value if false, I'll add another if statement. Okay. If same revenue is greater than equal to 20,000, lock the cell. Value if true, exceptional. Value if false, I want to print my revenue as is. That is a right. Rest is value, which means if that doesn't match, you just print whatever the revenue numbers are. I'll have to close the bracket. You remember the end bracket should be that black color, okay? Here we have started with the IFCA bracket is in black color, right? We have to make sure that bracket is always added. Sometimes if you don't add, Excel will is super intelligent. It will automatically add it. But if you're working with like complicated multiple else, it will forget. Okay, bracket is important. Let's go ahead and enter this formula. See here, 11,649, which is correct because it is not matching between 15 to 20,000. It is not also matching that greater than equal to 20,000. Rest is valid.
So means you're adding
Two if else conditions. You can add as many as you want. Okay. So this is called as nested if function. Inside a if, you are calling one more if statement. Can you try this? It's working. Anybody needs help? You have used if else condition. How it will work? How is it different compared to this one? Same. Huh?
No.
How is it different? Like which is easy? This one is easy or if else is easy? This one is easy.
If I then try, but I was saying that is why I'm not able to take this formula because the quotations and all.
Which quotations? This one. Huh? This quotation is simple. Whenever you want to specify a string, double quotes. You have come at a right place.
Not many people. And then I was starting my career.
You have taught many people. Okay.
Now I am not able to do that.
So shall we go to the next one? Hmm? So now
Now I remember instead of using many, if there is one more option. Okay.
you have attended, no, but these guys are attending for
Mhm.
first time.
Okay.
But benefits are there.
But I'm asking generally, so how do we judge in a situation? See, there is too many ifs in one page, and there is one more option where you can even have to use many ifs. So how do you judge? What should be the scenario of the judgment?
That judging will come when you are actually trying to create a formula. First thing is that when are you creating a formula? Are you a person who is working with the data and your end result is you get some number and you have to send that number to someone else?
Okay.
If you are more of that person, you don't even have to judge. Learn any one formula, be good in that, and you have to basically solve your problem. If you are someone who is creating some kind of Excel reports, which is going to be like kind of a dashboard for end users, which means you are not using Excel, you create it and you share it with others has to use it, then you have to judge it. Because when others are using the Excel spreadsheets, you have to ensure that formulas are, better performance for the formulas you have to use and all of that. Generally, are you in that role? If you are in that role, only then you have to judge. Maybe you have learned 10 function, which is the best function in this scenario. In case, if just in case that you are in middle, not in that side and not in this side, and still you want to learn. As a beginner, go ahead and take help from Copilot. Copilot will tell you what is the best way, or you use ChatGPT, and then it based on your comforts. Maybe you will not understand XLOOKUP, like you understand VLOOKUP only. Though you have seen right. XLOOKUP has lot of benefits, but you are comfortable with VLOOKUP. You will still use VLOOKUP, right? Yeah. Some people in my team, they still use normal if condition. They are very happy because they don't want to learn if else. Right. So that's why it's varies from person to person. But at least have become master in that one function. If you these are all about logical functions. So today, whatever we are learning, if else is part of logical function. I will also show you, like we learn along, what are the other ways to handle this problem. But you are not required to learn everything. At least learn any one logical function. Okay, and the next problem is if the revenue is greater than equal to 20,000. or less than equal to 15,000, then we have to call that as flag. So please little bit pay attention on this problem statement. Revenue should be greater than equal to 20,000. What I will do is, for now, I'll hide this. Wherever revenue is greater than equal to 20,000, you have to call it as flag. Example, here we have to call it as flag. Less than equal to 15,000. This is the answer. Or statement, you remember, see, or is nothing but either this condition or this condition has to pass. And if you look at the previous end condition, it is both the conditions has to pass. It's like more of between. From 1 to 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is called as end condition. If I say 1 or 10, it means either 1 or 10. Okay? How do we write this? It's pretty easy, no? This one.
See, you can
Is equal to if
take that revenue,
Hmm.
lock it.
Hmm.
With the logical types of lesser than
Hmm.
20. Okay. Then I have the order condition.
So yeah, that is correct. And second thing is, as we are becoming developers, we should also learn about copy paste. One of the developers trick is we don't write code again and again.
But I tried this, okay.
Hmm.
They cut out from it.
Okay, you see here,
Yeah,
I'll show you an
see.
example. This is the same formula I written. Copy, paste. You tell me if this is very difficult. Whatever I'm doing here, there's no change in my formula, no? All I did was I removed and I added or. Right? One second. B5, where is B5? Can you try this and tell me if it is working?
Just wait for the condition. Yes, so
Tell me what happened. I have made some changes to my code. I'll explain, but I want you to first try or statement and tell me. No, just copy the formula. I'll tell you the easiest way. You don't have to spend whole time. Just copy everything, whatever you have written, remove and put or. That's it. Wherever it is written as good now, just make it to flag. Or you can leave it as is also, that's fine. Same thing here. Just remove, put and put or. What is this? Hmm. It's working. How many flags are you getting? Everything is flag, huh? Everything is flag, huh? Then it's correct. I'll tell you why. Everything is flag for you also. So read the condition, whatever formula I have written. What is your formula? Probably you have written a formula like this. Right? B5, what is B5? This revenue is greater than C1. What is C1? 15,000. Then you have to call it as flag. So every value here is greater than 15,000. So it went and automatically gave it as flag. Then it came B5 less than 20,000, which is the only left out is 7,718. Then also it went and created as flag. Same formula. I have made a change here. Instead of 15,000, I am saying greater than equal to 20,000. Look at the condition here. First, it will check all the values which is greater than 20,000, which are these one. Sorry, 20,000, right? These two. It will go and make it as flag. And then it will go for this one. Less than 15,000. Which is less than 15,000? Right? See here. You got the problem, right? If you put first only 15,000, everything will pass there only. It doesn't come back. So you have to make sure whatever the problems is given, you have to add, especially with numerical numbers. Greater than 20,000 has to first come and then 15,000. Now, can you modify your formula? Only change in your formula is whatever you added here, put it here. Make 20,000 first and 15,000 second, and then check the result. Done now? How many flag you are getting? 6. Huh? Okay, we'll take a break for 5 minutes. We'll be back by 1:23 p.m. We'll take a break for 5 minutes. I hope my voice is audible. Okay.
20,000 plus 7,000. Yes, right.
Okay. Greater than equal to 20,000.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir, is 7,000. That's what you said.
Less than equal to.
Sorry. Don't understand.
What is C1?
C1 is this one. Equals to, I want to add.
Did you drag the formula? Drag it.
Yes, yes.
No, just double click the formula. Buttons are not working. Can you do this one? Here, if you look at the formula, you are giving E3. What is E3?
Oh, okay.
Okay. You have to give it B.
B. There is.
Okay. Shall we move to the next topic? %99 of the time, whenever I have worked with the projects or team members to fix an issue in Excel specifically, turns out to be very minor mistakes. I haven't ever come across any scenario where they have used the function incorrectly or the function is not working. It's the person who has written the function, right? Either they would have calling the wrong cells or something like that. 99%. Because we, especially Indians, what we'll do is first we'll work on the formula, then we'll debug it. If you look at Americans, first they will logically think, then they work on the solution. So as a best practice, I'll say you will be learning a lot of advanced topics going forward in SQL, Tableau, Power BI. First, write it on paper. Whenever you get any problem, since you are learning, right, you are a beginner, learn it by writing down it on paper and then apply it later on. Make that as a habit. So 99% of your problems will get solved. Don't directly write a formula. Don't directly write a code. Manually first write it on your paper. Working for you both. So let's go ahead and check the content. That is if and nested if functions. Okay. So we learned about if function in detail, right? So how to add nested if function, use operators between, greater than, equal to, and all of that. There are a couple of more functions in logical conditions. So what I will do is I will just highlight those which are already covered. We learned about if, we learned about and or. What is the difference between and or? And may both conditions has to match, or may any one condition. Okay, that is simple. Let's look at if error. Okay, you just copy, put a data like this one. I'll put it in chat box. Nothing but just add one column called name. Starting, you give it as A. Rest, you give it as 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one.
Okay.
Just copy paste this data. Name, just add a column called name. Make any one cell alphabet. Rest, keep it all numeric. Write a formula which says whatever is that cell plus 1. If it is 2 plus 1, which is 3. We just want to add one number to whatever the cell values we have. How do we do it? You got my question? You want me to repeat it? If it is 2, 2 plus 1, 3 plus 1, 4 plus, like that, I just want to add plus 1 to it. Okay. Is equal to this cell plus 1. Okay. Ideally, your results are wherever you have number, you see 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, correct, right? But this one is saying value. We learned about errors, right? When it is hash value means some issue with the value. It is not able to do addition. So whenever we want to do addition, multiplication, subtraction, division, we should do it with number. Here it's not a number, it's an alphabet. And it's throwing an error. Whenever you try to divide or do some mathematics, if it gives error, it will always give an error called hash value. Like that, there are different types of errors in Excel. I think there are only 3, 4. The first one is hash value. Hash value means always simple. The data type you are trying to do is something wrong with the data type. That is when it will give hash value. Now, what I want to do is, I want to tell my formula that whenever you get error, don't call it as some error hash value. To call it as something wrong. Just print it as something wrong. Okay. So what I will do, there is a function called if error. Okay. What is it? If this formula gets error, value if error, I want to call this as something is wrong. Nothing but whenever there is an error, instead of printing an error, you want to give some meaningful message. That's when you can use if error. Okay. So instead of calling something is wrong, I want to print either true or false. False means wrong. Okay? So this is called as Boolean. Okay. There's a built-in function called false. It'll nothing. It is simply printed as false, nothing else. Similarly, we have function called true. If you just type true, it will print as true. Okay. Go ahead and change the cell wherever it is called to, right? Give your name. And just verify it's working on it. Okay, so let's learn about the next function, if s. Okay, so what this function will do is, if you have lot of conditions, okay, then instead of adding multiple else if or nested if conditions, please note that this function will not work in all the scenarios. Okay, it works on the scenarios where it is logic is straightforward. Take a look at this. Whenever it is Sunday, I want to give the day number, which is 7. Whenever it is Monday, it's 1. Tuesday 2, Wednesday 3, Thursday 4, Friday 5, Saturday 6. So which means I'm just writing a simple if else condition, okay? That if the value is Monday, then 1. Else 2, 3, like that. You don't have to add multiple else if statements. So the simple way to add this one is equal to if s, and the moment I open bracket, you can see what is the condition. The condition I'll say if this value is equal to Sunday. Value if true, which means I want to call it as 7. Same condition again, logical test 2. What is your second condition? same cell if this cell is equal to Sunday, then 7. Same cell, if it is equal to Monday, then 1. What is the third condition? Same cell is equal to Tuesday. Wednesday. I'm just going and specifying as many days we have. Okay, simple formula. Only thing is that what is the condition? Value if true. What is the condition? Value if true. Okay. Now, if I drag this formula, you should be able to see all the day numbers are working as expected. Right? You got it? Same expression, I think we can also write it with the if else. If this value is equal to Sunday,
The next one.
again, I can add one more if. Okay. Now here, I'm saying if this value is Sunday, then 7. Added another if statement, value if false may. Added another statement if C10 is Monday, then it is 1. Then value if false, again I can add. So I can keep on adding as many if conditions as I want. So many brackets will get created. So very complex logic it will become, right? And so the simple solution is use if else. Your logic is straightforward. Okay? It doesn't work when you have a scenario where greater than equal to and less than equal to, and then if it is massive exceptional, so it doesn't work with the complicated logics. If your logic is straightforward, use if else. Can you try this and see, tell me if it is working?
Javed, one question on this.
Yeah.
FS. So let's suppose if the question is it
Hmm.
like case sensitive? Meaning, let's say my characters which I'm entering,
Hmm.
maybe the sheet is way too big. I have like 1,000, 2,000 characters,
Hmm.
and then cells values, and I'm not sure if it is how they are being formatted, right? So
Hmm.
in that case, if I give one particular keyword, and if it is not case sensitive, it will work. But if it's case sensitive, it wouldn't work, right? So is it really case sensitive, or do I
No,
have
it's not case sensitive. You can take a look at this example. This Sunday, I will
Mhm.
use lowercase, and it is still working as
Okay.
X.
Okay.
Mhm. Okay, working up. Simple function. You want me to paste the formula? You don't have if something. I'm just writing another formula. So for what we did is if the value is Sunday, then I'm putting 1, 2, 3. I'm now changing the formula to something else. If the value is 1, then I want to call it as Sunday. If the value is 2, Monday. Just same formula, numbers are now interchanged. You can also write it along with me. Oh, you press it on right. I'll paste the formula in the chat box. So it will be much faster. No change, okay?
It wasn't showing it as an average date. I just tried for this thing, just correct. I extended the formula.
Yes. With a comma which is missing after Friday. Comma 5, we should be the comma is missing there. See, everywhere you have comma. After Wednesday you have comma. No?
Mm. What did I miss?
You're giving everything in double quotes. Number should not be given in double quotes. You don't have to replicate this. I'm just showing a different scenario altogether. You can take a look at the screen. The formula is simple. If the value is 1, then I want to call it as Sunday, else Monday, else Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Okay. If you look at here, I have values starting from 1 to 6. I haven't written any condition for 7. Right? If you see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If it is 7, what? I haven't specified anything there. Okay. Now here, I have entered the value. Let's say I enter 1, it will print as Sunday, 2, Monday, which is working as expected. The moment I enter 7, it says NA. We learned about hash value. Hash value is whenever you try to do some mathematics, it gets hash value. Whenever this value may whatever formula you have written is not, that condition you have not written for it, it always give as hash NA, not available. Means that logic is not available for this number. So that's where we have a function called if NA. What I'm saying is I'm calling a function called if NA. I'll say if this entire formula gets an error called NA, I will want to call this as NA instead of an exception. Or I can also say that as logic not available. There is a difference between if error and if NA. If error, whenever you use this function, be it any type of error, hash value, hash NA, whatever it is the error, it will handle that as an exception. If NA will only handle when you are trying to write a logic where that value is not written. Only then it will work if NA. So as my recommendation is, you don't have to learn this function, only learn if error. Because this is the solution for all the problems. So this will only handle NAs. Okay. Generally, this is more important. If you learn this, it's enough. So we learned about if yes also, right? Wonderful. Now take a look at that if else condition. This is our if else condition. Right. So there is another formula called switch function, which is even more simpler. So we learned about basic if else if. Then we said, okay, why do we need to specify too many if statements? Then we learned if else. Now same problem, let's see how we can use switch functions. Okay. I'm saying I'm calling a switch function. First thing is called expression. Where is that value? So if the value here is 7, if the value is 1, then I want to call it as Sunday. If the value is 2, I want to call it as Monday. Value is 3, call it as Tuesday. The thing is, I'm not calling the cell again and again here. So much simplified. 4 is what? Wednesday. Okay. Same switch function compared to if else, it is much more simpler. Now take a look at this formula and this formula. Very easy, right? This one is very simple. But again, it's up to you. If you like, if you can use that. Please make note again, switch function straightforward. If the logic is straightforward, you can use. Can you write and no, if else में तो बहुत बार आपको if else you see here so many times we have to call that C10.
Straight function.
That's what. Yes.
Same
Both
for switch also.
Switch and if else both are same. Only thing is the way you call it is much simpler in switch function. That's it.
Because so the first one we can use it.
See, one for every problem, the solution is if function. Now, if you are not happy with if function, if your logic is simple, either go for if else or switch. But it is mandatory to learn the first if function. That is a solution for every problem. Be it the logic is straightforward, logic is complicated, medium, whatever it is, every problem you can handle with if statement. Working up. Shall we take another example? Take a look at this one. This is the employee rating, okay? If the employee rating is 1, we will call it as poor. If the employee rating is 2, we'll call it as okay. If the employee rating is 3, we will call it as good. Okay. So here are the employees and here is the rating. Let's go ahead and write a formula. Switch. This is the rating. If the value is 1, then what is it? 4. If the value is 2, okay. If the value is 3, good. Right? Working as expected, right? Wherever it is 4 and 0, it's giving NA. The problem with if S is there is no value if false, there is no such option only value if false, right? But in switch function, we can handle value if false. Means if you have not written any condition for this one, for any of these are apart from 1, 2, 3, if there is something else is coming, you can still handle that as an exception. Here you don't have to call again. You should, it is a default value. Okay. So that is the benefit of switch function. It is straightforward for the simple logic condition. It can also handle default values. In case if you have not written logic for anything apart from 1, 2, 3, you will by default print it as NA. Only thing is, how do you declare a default value? Here we are saying value is 3, then it is good. And whenever you just give comma and add this, it will by default go and say default value. Okay, can you write and see if it is working? Not working. What is the error you are getting?
Basically, I remember whenever you do something wrong, it shows up in the formula that we do. It highlights that in the blue color. I say that fix it up. That's how it shows up.
Yeah, correct. Now give why it is calling NA. Instead of NA, NA is an error. You have to handle that. You have to say default value, you give it as something like not applicable. Instead of calling hash NA, those employees whose rating is not 1, 2, 3, whose rating is 4 or 0, you want to say not applicable. Just give comma in the end of your switch statement and just give not applicable. As you go along, learn Excel, right? Now you are showing me your laptop and saying, okay, here is the error. Slowly, the moment you just take the laptop and look at me, your error will automatically sound. Because you will become more comfortable. Okay, and then after one point of time, it will automatically solve. You don't have to complain. What happened? What is the error? Check the form. You check the form.
Wait, 1 second. Why are you giving name and what is it? Rating in one column? How will name should be here and the performance should be here. Why are you giving 3 and row in the same column? How will it look like this? Yeah, I know. Yes, I know. No, okay. Okay. Copy this. Delete the name. And I can put the name.
Okay. Not working. Oh, switch is not there. You want to practice?
Yes.
I'll give you one. You have joined in Zoom. Zoom link you have joined. Internet, I'll give you the password. Connect to this Airtel Jaga 5126. Password is in lowercase AIR 01
No, Baba. First
302.
उसका heading यहाँ पे डालो. In the good ना यहाँ. हाँ. Okay. Rating यहाँ. Okay ना. either you are hesitant for whom you're waiting. Saying you, how will you get? It's the room. Okay. What I'm doing. Then, okay. Okay. Now you will.
Don't
In the rating, hearing. Okay, now we put the final. We will these two. Okay. Is it right? Now we put the set from. You got me?
You have a formula, sir. If this switch function is there.
Why you want to set the board all the time? Stretch, now we do expression means from what you have to compare is expression. Correct? If this person, that means if this is the other people, right? If this person, so we could find it. This person, comma, what is it asking? What you have to do is one. Then what do you have to say? One is for saying, in which you don't have to do again. Again, what you is like okay, inverted one, inverted one. That's it. Okay, then to says the so for everything we will know the benefit and then instead of any
You can download from Google.
invited from not
No, there is one cracked version. You need to download the cracked version.
now click on that.
No problem. I'll share one link in the chat box. Just open that. No, open in Google Chrome. There you can practice all the formula. You can write a switch function is equal to.
Check it again. Then you keep the cursor in that switch. See which is equal to
It's coming out.
this one.
Same thing.
This one, right?
Okay. Shall we move to the next topic? You can practice it later, okay? This link I will keep it open till your Excel session is over. Those who don't have those who don't have Excel latest formula, latest version of Excel, I have pasted a link. You can actually open the same Excel online through a browser, open it in Google Chrome. If you open it, you will see something like this. You can practice the same Excel. You don't require Excel to be in your laptop. You can just need an internet connection. Make sure if one person is writing, example, she is writing a formula, you see her name, she is writing, you don't write it there so that it will not create problem. You write formula somewhere bottom, okay?
I got it.
So far, if you look at it, logical functions, these are the functions we have got. Which is simple here. If the country is India, you want to call IN. You have sample superstore, right? Use that. Wherever you have straightforward condition, you just have some value. Sunday is there, then you want to call 1. So let's go to the next, which is one of the most important functions in Excel, which you will be using it for lifetime. Okay, because you will definitely get scenarios and you have to work with the data, and these functions are, without this it is not possible to arrive at result. If you learn this, either any one function, we can help you resolve the problem. So I'm talking about date functions. Okay, date functions are very important. Without these functions, you will not, there's no other way to get a solution of it. Some of these I have already explained. I'll just reiterate it again. Uh, take a look at this. I have a sample data like this. You get a data like this. Now, date is not a data field. Everything is not in one cell. It's split into multiple cells. You have a year column, it says 23, month is there 12, and day is 15. You want to construct a date out of these three cells, right? Is equal to, there's a function called date. It has three parameters, year, month, and day. Where is the year? Year is over here, comma, month is here, and day is over here. Automatically, it will construct into a date. If you have text data and you want to convert the text into date, you can use a date function. Clear? Sometimes you want to calculate age. We were talking about age, right? You have a date of birth, you want to calculate age. What is the requirement for age? What should we have?
Date of birth and,
Let's say this guy is born in let's say this is the date of birth of some person. How do you calculate age? How old is he? What do we need? We have the input, which is 1/15/1985. How do you calculate his age? What is?
2 days.
How do you know it's today? What is today?
Equals to now.
Today is 21st October, no? Tomorrow it will be 22nd October, right? So your calculation has to be dynamic, right? That's why we have a function called today. Just print current day. Okay. There's another function called now. Only difference is it will also print hour, minute. I think I have already explained about this function.
It is now.
It will just print hour, minute, seconds. Nothing else. Okay. Now take a look at this date. I want to extract year from this. So what we did was year, month, and this thing was in separate. Right. We clubbed into one and constructed a date. But let's take a look at this date of birth. I want to only extract year from this. We have month, we have day, we have year, but I want only that 1985 to come out of this. So there's a function called year. When you call year function from a date field, it will just print year 1985. Likewise, we have month function. It will extract month. And then we have a day function, which will extract day. Very important functions. Year, month, and day. It's interview questions is also lies in this one. Can you tell me in Excel we have a list of dates for all our employees. We want to know how can we extract year from that? How do we do it?
Yeah.
You can use year function. So far you learned about year, day, month. Unfortunately, we don't have our quarter. What is quarter?
3 months. A year divided into
Q1, we have 4 quarters. Every 3 months is into one quarter. But there are ways we can achieve it. Then what else is missing in time intelligence? We have week, we covered day, month, hour is equal to hour. Now I have hour here, right? So I'm pointing to this cell. Hour is 14 is equal to minute. It will extract minute from that. Is equal to second. It will extract second from that. Okay. Year, month, day, hour, minute, second. Which is missing? Week number. Week number, how many weeks we have in a year? 53 weeks. Which week this belongs to? Week 3. Same week number, if I call to current date, what is the week number? 42.
How do we calculate age? Okay, date of birth and current date. Okay.
No, that I'll come to that one. That I have a separate function for that.
Hmm.
This is about different ways to extract date. Okay.
So
So
now we are now function. Can you just go? Now can you tell me now function?
now just prints date along with time.
So like today only we can give that.
No, today it will not print.
Okay, today it not print time, but now it will print that.
Yeah,
Time.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Now,
basics. These are the basic functions.
day, month, and year.
I'll ask you another question. I have day, year, month in different cells. How can you build a date? I want to construct a date. What function you will use?
Concatenate.
No, yeah. Concatenate works only for.
Sorry, repeat the question.
Take a look at this one.
Uh,
I have year, month, day. What function I can use to build a date from these three? Date function.
Date.
Just now we learned, right? How do you recognize that it's a date? How do you know in Excel this is a date? It's in the Is it? I'll show you one example. Tell me if this is a date.
That's how it is.
Exactly. You're almost close. Yes. Anyway, I don't have that file. There are some scenarios. It looks like date. Whenever you put always remember, easiest way is first put a filter. And then if you put a filter and select this, it should be splitted into year, month, and day. Like this, 1985, January 15. In some instances, what it will happen, right? Take a look at this one. This is also date now. This is also date now. Why is it not recognizing as a date? Why there is no year, month? You will get this problem for sure when you work with Excel sheets. Now, this is the date. If I write a formula is equal to year of Everything was fine. But whenever you put on filter, it is not recognizing. If you see here, here it is recognizing, and here it's not, because it's date but stored in a text format. Whenever you see dates in text format, you have to format the text. You have to format this date into date format. Okay. How do you format it? Date value is the function. Okay. Format unrecognized date to correct. Change the format. You can see. If the dates are stored in text format, you have to use a function called date value. Shall we move to the next one? We have only a couple of minutes left for today. Clear, right? I'll share this Excel. You can practice it. Always remember, at least you should know the description of each function, what that function is all about. So let's take an example of this date we have, which is 21st of October 2023. Let's say somebody has logged a ticket to HR or to IT team, and obviously Saturday, Sunday they will not work. So what is the next working day? Correct. So what is today? Today is Saturday. Next working day is Monday. If you want to know the date, is equal to work day. This is a function which will print you the next working day. So in my scenario, it's a next working day. How do I specify it? First is, where is my date? My date is over here. I want to know what is the next working day. I'll give 1, close the bracket. By default, it's prints in a number format. You can change the format to short date. It says 23. It is not saying 22 because 22 is Sunday. So the next working day is 23. What if I want to know the next second working day? Second working day, I'll just remove 1 and add 2. What is the next 5th working day? Why do we need it? Maybe we will sell that you logged a ticket. We need 3 working days to resolve. We will not resolve on the immediate day. From the date you logged in, which is the next 3rd working day, we will resolve. And if that person will ask, what is that 3rd working day? Can you tell me the date? You use workday function. Likewise, minus also you can use, I guess. It will go to the previous. Okay. Okay, next is, how do you calculate the difference between these two dates? Okay, so we have a date, for example, let's call this as project start date. project ending. So there is a particular employee who is working in some project. The project he started is on 1st October. The project got completed in 21st October. How many days he worked in this project? So you can use, there is a function called DATEDIF. First thing is you will not come to know whether there is a function. Whenever you type is equal to, you see nothing is coming up. Okay. So is equal to DATEDIF, open a bracket. Where is the start date here? Where is the end date over here? I want the difference in days. That's why I'll give it as D. If I want the difference in month, I can give it as M. Now, if I change this date instead of 10, I'll give September. Difference is 1 month. If I want the difference in year, I'll give it as Y. So here I'll change 2023 to 2022, 1 year. Now, since it's 1 year of difference, I can change it to D. It will give me difference is 415 days. Instead of double F, give single F. This date format is wrong. This date format is different. So you have to give whatever your system may, what is format, same format.
Dated dated
Date diff. DATEDIF. Not working. Single F. Here you have given month in the beginning and then date. As per your system, first you need to give date, month, and then year.
But when I used okay.
Working, huh? Show me. Your system format date is different. You should give year hyphen month hyphen date.
Okay, only then it works.
Yeah. Shall we move to the next one? Any doubts? So far you calculated the difference between two dates. I have a requirement. Please exclude weekends and tell me the difference between that date. Okay. Exclude the weekend and tell me the difference. It is saying 20 days, no? October 1, say 21, it says calculate 20 days. I want to exclude Saturday and Sunday.
Same formula.
Same formula. Apply it and see. Weekend, apply weekend formula.
Weekend. We have it.
अप्लाई नहीं इसमें क्या है अप्लाई करो भाई देखो वीकेंड okay so no actually she has a very good this thing all right this will be very helpful to you because when we learn SQL and all there are a lot more here we have 600 functions in SQL we have 2000 plus functions. One of the ways for every function will have same name. Like example, you want to calculate weekend, like year. There is a function called year. If you want to extract day, you can call day function. So there are some tools, they have built these functions user-friendly. So that you can call that function, it will tell you. I guess in Tableau, we have that function called weekend. It will just tell you if that day is weekend or not. We have days from Monday to Sunday. Whenever you have Saturday and Sunday, it will say S. If you use a weekend formula, it will say yes. Unfortunately, we don't have that in Excel. Our question is also slightly different here. We want to take the difference, but exclude the weekends So we have a function called network days. And now don't ask me why did they give it as network. Some guy liked the word network and he has given this function called network days. Same formula, there is no difference. If you see a start date, comma end date. Start date is my this one, end date is this one, close the bracket. It is 15.
So system will automatically exclude.
Okay, working? Okay. Let's add one more condition. 2nd October is a holiday, right? I want to exclude holiday also. Government holiday. Exclude holiday and weekends. What function we can use here? No. Same function we can use. Network days mein, if you open this bracket, you see there's a comma holidays. Same function it will work. I'll just quickly show you, then you try it out. What you have to do is you have to store your holidays in some place. Okay, I'll store it here. I'll say holiday. I'll call it as 10/2/2023. This is holiday. What I will do is equal to network days. Start date is this one. End date is this one. Holiday is here. 14. Now what I have one more holiday. Second, this month we have so many holidays, no? Second is one Gandhi Jayanti. No, 22, so we don't have in this data, it's 10 to 21, no? Let's say October 10. What is October 10? What happened on October 10? Let's see something. October 10, client holiday. Client is not working. That is also holiday. Possible, right? Example, something your office got fired. They declared holiday. Now you have to exclude that also. How do we do it? No change in the formula. Here you selected G35, right? Now select range of your cells. Now I can also say next day also office did not recover. Everything is burned. No place to sit. So 11 is also holiday. You just have to modify your formula. Okay, this is called as holiday table. You create one sheet and declare wherever is your holiday, you declare everything automatically. Network days. Any doubts? Okay. So far, we were able to calculate difference between days using DATEDIF, which will also include weekends. Second, we learned about excluding weekends with the help of network days. Third is holiday plus weekend. Now, I would say Saturday, Sunday is not my holiday. It's not my weekend. Generally, right? Like call center, if you see, they do work on Saturday, Sunday, but they may take off on Monday and Tuesday. Now you want to exclude Monday and Tuesday as a weekend. How do we do it? Saturday, Sunday is a weekend. Generally for IT, it's a weekend, but there are some teams like insurance, in this call center, they do not take weekend as Saturday, Sunday. For them, example, Monday and Tuesday is a weekend. Now you're working for them to build some reports. Same data. Project start is this one, end is this one. Weekend should be considered as Monday and Tuesday, not Saturday and Sunday. Yeah. So use a formula is equal to NETWORKDAYS.INTL, start date, comma, end date. Then the moment you type end date, comma, it will show you all the weekends. One means Saturday and Sunday. Two means Sunday and Monday. Please select three, which is Monday and Tuesday. Okay. Likewise, you can specify if it is Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever number is there, you type that number.
First, second, and third.
Hmm.
For 3 and for Monday.
If it is overlap now, it is anyway going to exclude. If 2nd October is your government holiday, you have declared that in your holiday table, called it into your formula, it will exclude. Else, how will Excel know that it's Gandhi Jayanti? Right. Yes, we have to tell Excel is not biased. It's not built for US people. Everyone, it's fair. But we need to declare somewhere that this is the holiday. Okay. Same function, we learned about that work day, right? We want to know that working day, next working day. So you can use that same formula. If instead of next working day, if there are, you want to handle custom weekends, holidays, instead of workday, you use workday.intl. If your start date is this one, you want to know the next working day. Weekend is like your, instead of Saturday, Sunday, if your weekend is Monday, Tuesday, select 3. And if you have holidays, you specify the holidays. No other change. Okay. 22. So what is we leaving here? Some reason it's 22.
Yeah, it's correct.
No, I am seeing like 22. Okay, yeah, it's correct.
Because it's Monday.
No, I thought 22 is Monday. I'm thinking today is Sunday. Okay, done. Okay, so that brings us to the end of our session today. So let's quickly summarize what we learned so far. We started our day with a simple if-else function. We also used and or statements. We learned about some logical functions, which are if and or, if error, if yes, if any, true, switch. Finally, we went to date functions. We learned about approximately, let's say this, approximately around 13 functions in date. Okay,
Age function.
that is age only. Now, date difference is what?
This one, is it any way to get the particular numeric value? For example, you give the date of birth and then today's the date. If the person is 35 years old, how do we calculate that?
35 is what?
See, we needed a numerical value.
That is, this is numerical only now. Where is that one? This is numerical only now. Where is that date? Where is date difference is where it here. This is a start date and the difference is 20.
Okay, so you need to say.
He's 35 years old, you want to say?
I think.
Same function you can. Instead of D, you give it as 5. 1980, where is that guy? 1980 or 85, you had one. 1985, here we have. See, instead of here, I have used a today function. I'll also show you another way. Is equal to date, diff. Start date is this one. End date is today. And the difference I want is in here. 38. This will auto, this is dynamic. The moment we go to next year, you don't have to modify your formula. 2024 it will take. Okay. So thank you everyone for joining the session. We'll have, we are slightly behind our schedule. If you look at it, we covered everything. This text functions we haven't got a chance to cover. Don't worry, text functions we have already covered, like left, length, mid, find already we covered, but again, we'll go through again tomorrow. Okay. Any questions? I'll share this entire Excel workbook, whatever we have learned today. Let's meet tomorrow. Thank you. Have a nice day.